Hello, folks. How y'all doing today? My toe got smashed, so I'm a little loopy today, but it is what it is. At any rate, uh, many people have asked me over the last, several weeks or so, essentially, what are the kind of things I would like to see done? Where would I like to go with things? Well, here's reality. One, let's just start right at the top. Multicult. It's a failure. Multicultural societies, multi-ethnic societies, multilingual societies, polyglot empires, all of it. They're garbage. They fall apart. They have no center of stability. They are artificial. And frankly, they can only be held together by increasing amounts of violence by the usually a very small minority who profit off of the empire or polyglot, a horde. Okay. Um, in that sense, they're very, very, very like an actual nomad horde in that they're only held together by mutual advantage and by the most flimsy of ideological propositions as such. They have no organic soundness that holds them together, no biological fundamental reality, and as such, um, they crumble and they destroy the people within them. This is reality. Find me a Roman. The people in Rome today aren't Romans. It's a joke. Now, I don't intend to be, for my people, all of the Western European peoples, to be the Romans of history, and therefore multicult must go. That's one thing I would do. That's all multiculture. There's no reason for anyone who isn't a European Christian Gentile, or at least a European who can accommodate themselves to a European Christian Gentile culture. If you cannot, you'll simply be asked to leave. If you try to take over from us, we will crucify you. You can see that I'm not weak. Christ didn't weaken my moral fiber in the least way, right? So there's that. Two, what would we do from here? Well, from there would be structural changes. The biggest one, right off the top, would be there would be a massive campaign to basically educate people on the fact that currency, money, is a symbol for the things that can be bought and sold in society. It's just a symbol. And those things, the goods and services, come basically from here and here, from humans, from our work, you know. And therefore, really, it's those of us that work and do productive and good things that help others get the things they need to live that are making money in the most real sense. We are literally a money tree, or the very fountain of money, if you'd like. Rumpelstiltskin himself, you know. And through this, the basic idea would be to show people in a slow, calm manner that this usury-based system we have is simply unnecessary. Now, the reason that this would be done in a slow manner is so there would be no crazy reactions, no spooking of people, you know. It wouldn't be like we're just sacking the money out and replacing new money, which would cause a massive amount of chaos. It could be a structured changeover, which would be calm and rational. That's at least the ideal of it. It's certainly a lot better than just rushing on in and abolishing the Fed all in 15 minutes, you know. Because, okay, let's just say that somebody did do that, abolish the Federal Reserve, but left the big banks in place that really are the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is just a consortium. It's just a front for those big banks, see. Well, those big banks would just start to issue loans that amount to the same carpetbagger debt as what the Federal Reserve does, except for they wouldn't be bound by the Federal Reserve Act, and so they would go for broke and then try to really rape us. And then they would go for the deflationary spiral to really set it to us like Weimar Germany. That's what would happen. So if you abolish the central banking function, you have to grab the other bankers quick by the scruff and stop them. And the key to stopping them is, in my view, I would promote a credit union system so that people who did work and owned businesses and saved could pool that money together and have their own capital, you know, creation, basic engine, rather than these usurers' banks, which don't bank anything any longer. They simply create imaginary numbers from thin air. Well, if that's all that's going to be done, I don't see why we should pay them all of this interest money for it when a computer in the Treasury could do the exact same thing for free for the power of running the electricity, you see. Um, from there, essentially, once the money was well in check and people, this so-called market on Wall Street, the internationalist traitors, and I do mean traitors as in, treason, that's the name of that street. Treason Street would simply be basically not completely arrested, but most of the largest people who were involved in the SNL scandal, Enron, and the rest would be outright brought to trial, found guilty, and hung. It's as simple as that. It's easy like that. All the bureaucrats and governmental officials that covered for them would be hung. And this goes right up to the bankers debacle, where they swindled trillions from everyone. Now, so far we have the multi-cult would be gone, political correctness would be gone, the money that paid for all of it would be gone, the Wall Street treason lobby that ensured that all of it, that was basically the engine of it all, would be gone. Next would be the turn for the bureaucrats, the academia, and the professionals who are in league with the enemy and who are internationalist communist traitors. They would be purged, and I do mean purged outright, relieved of their jobs, taken from any positions of authority, and if need be, confined, interned. It's as simple as that. They would then be subjected to psychological pressures to force them to be loyal or break them and force them to outright come into open treason so they could be destroyed. It's as simple as that. And let me see. We have. Oh, yeah, comes the next one I would do. This is kind of sort of remedial at this point, but now that we have the schools and the academics in line, we could actually institute a pro-nationalist educational system that would teach children to be proud of who they were, to be proud of their history, and would educate them better in the basic understanding of the universe around them, because it wouldn't teach them silly lies as though people with 120 IQs in first world countries are equal to 60 IQ savages in third world countries. That is a patent lie, and it is harmful to these children's soul to have to take in this garbage, frankly. Among other things, we would bring back the very concept of winners and losers, okay? And frankly, the children that could not be winners as such would be directed towards jobs, middle class and working class jobs, with a massive jobs training program that would be part of school. The others would be taught to be administrators and directors as they were fit, just like nature had intended them to be. It simply would be an acceptance of the fact that nature has created working class, middle class, and upper class people in your abilities. And that's it, Now, it isn't to say just because you were born upper class that you have those skills. No, I would have it based purely upon merit, not your mommy and daddy's money. They wouldn't be able to buy you any position if they tried. We'd have them arrested for bribery and fraud and trying to effectively deceive the people by fobbing off poor leaders upon them. You see, we have this crop of poor leaders now because we've allowed money to elevate people who have no moral or personal characteristics fit for leadership. Okay? That's why we're up to our neck in this mess, because none of these people lead anything. They're simply a bunch of opportunists and trash. Okay? The media are garbage. The very fact is that they're anti-national and they hate us, and so there's, again, once the academics were in line, why not get rid of the media too and replace it with one that is loyal? You can publish anything that's true, but you have to be loyal to us when you do it. It's real simple. You don't get to promote multicultural, you don't get to promote anybody's well-being but ours, and you don't get to browbeat us into accepting our own doom through diversity and mass immigration and tolerance. You don't get to promote degeneracy. You don't get to promote all of this sick, disgusting, lowly, vile nonsense that the media tries to promote so that it can pollute and corrupt our people's healthy instinct to life. You just don't get to do it. And let me see, from there, Oh, I'm going to be blunt with you. I would restrict the voting franchise. Women and children would not vote. No one under 35 would vote. Only men that had property, paid taxes, and held a rifle would vote. It's that simple. It's that easy. You don't fight, you don't pay, you don't say. Just like that. And again, from these men who did this, people with merit, with the skills for leadership, would be promoted up by the other men to the ranks appropriate to them. It's not particularly difficult, and frankly, I mean, the Celts were doing this same basic concept, say 4,000 years ago. It's pretty simple, Simon. It's generally the cheapest form of government, since there would be no bribery in this. Anyone who bribed anyone would, again, snap by the neck. That easy. No games, no bribery, no public corruption, no any at all corruption of the youth or corruption of public morals. Anyone that moves against public morals or the morality of the youth is a public enemy, as far as I was concerned. I would have a law passed. And of course, public enemy would mean that anyone would be able to kill you in any way they were able, and they would be rewarded for it. They would be considered a hero who had saved the people from corruption, not a criminal. No crime would attach to stopping these sorts. Just like there would be no right to be, subversive. No sane people allow subversives to operate against them openly. That's ignorance. It's stupid. It's weakness, in fact. It's the reason that we're here in this multi-cult cesspit today. That's why. Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with allowing anyone who can breathe oxygen to vote. It's simply corrupted our political system. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. Now that's what I'd like to see changed. And I'm saying this not so much as just as a hope, as a prayer, really. It's sort of a God may hear my cry and cause it to become so. Because, frankly, everything I've said is what I would like. I'd like to see multi-cult go away. I'd like to see this media that's treasonous to be put in check, and our academics who are treasonous be put in check, and in a more community and family-based society where we understand our biological bonds. All right, folks, y'all take care now.